This is the story of an old tree that whispered secrets in the dead of night. A tree that stood alone in the middle of Blackwood Forest, where no birds sang, no animals roamed, and where people never dared to go after sunset. I am going to tell you what happened when a young boy, full of curiosity, made the mistake of listening to the whispers. Aiden was a 17-year-old boy, quiet and thoughtful. He had recently moved to a small town with his mother after his father's death. Their new house was near the edge of Blackwood Forest, a place the locals never spoke about. Whenever Aiden asked about it, they only gave him strange looks and told him, "Stay away from the forest, especially from the tree." Aiden didn't understand. How could a tree be dangerous? The warnings only made him more curious. He started asking questions, but no one would give him a straight answer. One night, he sat by his window, staring at the dark forest. The wind howled outside, and then he heard it. A soft, whispering voice. It was distant at first, like a faint breeze carrying words. But as he focused, the voice became clearer. It was calling his name. Aiden's heart pounded. He closed his window, pulled the curtains shut, and told himself he was imagining things. But the next night it happened, again, and the night after that. He had to know the truth. So one night, just before midnight, Aiden took a flashlight and stepped into the forest. The deeper he went, the colder it became. The trees stood tall and lifeless, their twisted branches like fingers reaching for him. But one tree was different. It was massive, its bark blackened and rough. A thick mist swirled around its roots. The air around it felt heavy, like it was alive. And then he heard it. The whisper. "Aiden, you came." His breath caught. In his throat. The voice wasn't coming from behind him or above him. It was coming from the tree itself. His fingers trembled as he reached out and touched the bark. The moment his skin made contact, a sharp pain shot through his head, and his vision blurred. He saw flashes, people screaming, hands clawing at the ground, bodies disappearing into the roots. And then, a face. A girl with hollow eyes and a twisted smile. Aiden pulled his hand back, gasping. The whispering grew louder, overlapping voices speaking all at once. Some were pleading, some were laughing, and some were angry. He turned to run, but something wrapped around his ankle. A root. It slithered up his leg, pulling him toward the tree. He struggled, kicking and screaming, but more roots shot up from the ground, tightening around him like snakes. The whispers turned into screams. Then, through the chaos, one voice spoke clearly. "Set us free." Aiden's eyes darted around. The tree wasn't just whispering, it was holding something. Souls, trapped, suffering, desperate to escape. But how could he free them? He looked down at the base of the tree and saw something glinting in the moonlight. A rusted axe, half buried. In the dirt, summoning every ounce of strength, he lunged forward, grabbed the axe, and swung it at the thickest root. A horrible screech echoed through the forest. The tree shook violently, its bark cracking open like a wound. Aiden kept swinging, cutting through root after root. Dark liquid oozed from the gashes, staining the ground. Then, suddenly, silence. The roots released him, falling limp. The whispers stopped. The air became still. And then, from the cracks in the bark, glowing figures emerged. Shadows of people. Their faces peaceful, their bodies fading into the night sky like mist. Aiden collapsed, panting. It was over. By morning, the tree was nothing but a lifeless stump. The townspeople, seeing the change, finally told him the truth. Decades ago, a woman was accused of witchcraft and burned alive beneath that very tree. With her dying breath, she cursed it, binding lost souls to its roots, feeding on their pain. But Aiden had broken the curse. From that night on, the whispers stopped. The forest was still eerie, but it no longer felt hungry. Aiden knew he had done the right thing, but even years later, sometimes, in the quiet of the night, he swore he could hear a faint whisper calling his name.